Hey everybody, welcome to my channel for another exciting and fun-filled video episode on this Passagemaker Dingy build. We got lots to do, so let's get at it. Alright, first off, you can see we're not out in the shed. We're a little bit different place and we're working on something kind of cool here. We are at the Melbourne MakerSpace. Now, I didn't, until probably 4 or 5 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, I didn't even know these places existed. I think I can't remember what YouTube channel that I saw that used one of these maker spaces, but they're all over the place. No, not all over the place, but there's quite a few of them around the country, and they're places where you can go and they have equipment and different equipment, and you can for a monthly fee you can go ahead and use whatever they have, and they have people that are around on certain days, certain times, that will show you how to use the equipment. For the most part, they're not gonna do stuff for you, but they'll show you how to do it. They'll give you ideas, suggestions if you ask for them. But it really is a DIYer's paradise. We'll take a look around here in a little bit, but first off, I want to get started on my project that I'm working on. So you remember, last episode I cut out the Dagger board trunk. So now I got two big holes in the wrong spot on the dinghy, top and bottom, and I had the paper template of what I wanted to do. There's no way I'm taking a jigsaw and cutting that out. I can guarantee you that it would make it worse. So I looked for ideas on how to do something there. I was thinking through it quite a bit, and with that pattern I had, I was like, well, heck, I'll just go find a place and I'll send them my drawing that I have here, and I'll get back a template that I can go ahead and put on the boat and make it all look nice and use the router, and that'll be nice. I'll just send off someplace and have it done. Well, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why there isn't someplace out there. To be honest, I got pretty frustrated pretty quick, and I tried working with a couple places, and there was no rhyme or reason on what they were doing, and one place I needed. So if you think about it, I need two templates really. I need one template for the hole and one template for the plug that's going to go in that hole. And if you use a router bit, that router bit you have to take account for that width. So the template for making the two holes in the boat would be narrower, or the plug would have to be wider to account for the difference of the router bit if you use a router to go around that. So I needed two templates, right? So the first place I tried, yep, we can do that. It'll be $75 to do this tool setup for each template, and then whatever material and time it takes to make the parts themselves. I was like, all right, well, yeah. Now you're talking a couple $100 probably pretty quick. And then the second place, I give them all the information, and the second place came back with nonsensical questions. I'm like, well, if you read my email, then this would make sense to you. And so that place was gone. And then most of the rest of them, it's okay, upload your stuff. So I upload my stuff. Okay, upload your stuff. And so anyways, I was thinking about it. And I remember back to the video about the makerspace. I was like, geez, I wonder if there's some place that maybe has a laser or CNC machine that you can use locally. And sure enough, there's a makerspace here in Melbourne. Who would have known? And they've got a nice laser set up here that will cut plywood, plexiglass, the main two things that you can cut on it. And I've already, to be honest with you, I already came once and did a very rough test pattern just to see if this is going to work at all, and took that back to the shed, and yep, I think with a few tweaks we're going to make it. So today I'm here today to try the last test pattern before I go in for the real stuff. So that's what we'll do here first, and get that set up. It does take a little while to run. Maybe the first one took 30 minutes, but I had some extra stuff in there and I was playing around with it, and so it's it'll probably take another 20-30 minutes for this one. We'll see how it goes. But then I'll give you a tour of the shop of the MakerSpace here. It does cost $60 a month, but I think it's worth it. And right now, and really just to support the place, I'm going to keep the membership for at least 2 months just to support this place, because I think this is just the greatest thing. I've seen young kids in here, and older retired people in here, and I think this is really a cool space for DIYers. So like I said, I'm going to support it for at least 2 months, and then we'll see. I may drop it for a while and pick it up only when I need it, but we'll see how that goes. But anyways, let me show you what we're working on and how we're gonna get there. All right, this is gonna be kind of rough since this isn't my computer. And I can't really do a video capture or screen capture on it, or I don't want to try doing it. But anyways, so they use a program called Whiteburn. So I've done a DXF, that's a AutoCAD interchange file, and you can see this little stuff here in the middle. That's my drawing. Now when I do the drawing up, I'm 1:1 inches, but then when you do the exchange into DXF, the units don't really follow the transfer, so you have to rescale it. So up here at the top, I know that my height here is actually, oops, let me see if I can show it here, is actually not 6.6 whatever that was, it's actually 16.5. So let's see, there we go, that's what we wanted. And now we can see, so that's what I'm going to be burning here. Now I need to select it and move it, and I want to move it up here. You can, I don't know if you can see that red dot, that's where the origin point is. So I want this fairly close here, but I need room to keep the hold downs on the side. So we're going to put that right there. I think that's pretty good. So you can see here, this will be the outline of the plug. This would be where the Dagger board trunk would be, and then and the outside here is the form I'd use to make the hole in the new hole in the boat, both in the seat and in the bottom. So let me get this set up, and I've got to do some other adjustments, and let me get that all set up, and then we'll show you how it looks when we do it. Oh yeah, and I'm using we'll talk about that when I get to it. Anyways, let me pause here and I'll get this set up, and we'll get going on this. All right, as you can see, I'm just using some 1/4 inch thin plywood, just real cheap stuff. And this is just to do a test on, make sure I got the pattern right and I like the way it looks. The next thing I got to do here is try to set, oops, see if I can set you up a little bit here. So need to hold this piece of plywood down. You don't want this shifting while it's doing the cutting, even though it probably shouldn't. They got these long magnet bars that kind of fit in here, and snap it down in place. Alright, that's not going anywhere. Now the thing to do next here is to, oops, I forgot to send the file. Hold on a second. Alright, hold on, I need to figure some stuff out here. Alrighty, here goes nothing. Well, all right then, that took a little over 10 minutes. So now's the moment of truth. I'm gonna go ahead and just go ahead and shut it down, I guess. All right, let's see how this looks. All right, not too bad. You can see up at the top there, I saw a little bit of a flame starting. Let's see if I can get these magnets off without hurting myself. Pretty strong magnets they got here. They've got a spot to get your finger in underneath them. And I forgot to bring gloves. It does leave quite a bit of a, let's see if I can show it, quite a bit of a char along the edge. But let's see how this looks. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah, so you can see that this would be what we would use on the boat itself. Clamp this down and then run a router along to get this cut out in the bottom. And you can see I put these little slits here at the top and the bottom, and that is the center. So if I put these on the center line, then I know I'm squared up, and I know I've got it centered along the center line. And then this is what the plug would look like. Except yeah, so when I do the template, the real template for the plug here, I won't cut out the Dagger board part here. I think I'll just do I just do some where I've got these holes. I just do the holes, so I've got a place to screw the template for the plug down to the material that I'm going to use for the plug, and then I can route around the outside to shape the actual plugs that are going to go in there. So yep, so I think this was a success. The only thing I need to do now is to take it back and see if it's going to fit right, and if it does, we'll come back. To be honest, I could probably use the edges on these are pretty good, but with the charring on them, and I think I'm going to use plexiglass for my final templates. We'll see how it comes out, but we can always switch back to this plywood if that's what we need to do. So let me go ahead and put this, well, I'll just go ahead and leave it here. Nobody else is here. And let's see if we can do a quick tour of MakerSpace. All right, so here we are in MakerSpace. You can see they've got this is just the first room. They've got a pretty big space. They've got kind of a spot here to do lectures and some teaching. Back in the back there, they've got quite a nice little electronics workbench and electronic tools and equipment back there. Over on this side here, the main room, we've got some 3D printers. Pretty nice little printers. They've got two there, one there, and I think they've even got a couple over here. And yeah, electronics workspace, little classroom. Back in the other corner over here, we've got some arts and crafts with some knitting and some fabric kind of stuff, along with a couple of sewing machines and a vinyl cutter thing. Then they've got two laser printers. This one they think they'll have working here shortly. So that was the one I was using. And you can see through from the artwork along the wall here that some of the stuff they've done. One of the things I like here is rule number 1: don't be on fire. And the rest of them are all real good tips. So yeah, so we've got they've got a CNC machine here that's I need to is the other thing that I would like to learn how to use. If I did the plug that goes in the boat, and I didn't want to do the router template, I'd probably use this. So we may even come back to using that. They do have quite a few things that are, I think some of the stuff is equipment to be refurbished or get up and running. But then over in the next room here, we've got a pretty nice wood workshop with lathes. We've got a table saw set up, sanding discs, grinders. We've got thickness planers here. Got a joiner. Got a big belt sander here. A nice work table. I've got a couple of bandsaws. I've got a kind of a scroll bandsaw, a real nice one, and then a kind of a bigger one over here. These would have been, I think, with a bandsaw this big, I might have been able to do these foil shapes using something like this. And then, of course, a nice miter chop saw here. But yeah, this is a pretty nice little woodworking shop here. Real nice table saw, and yep, really like this. I've got ducting for the sawdust all over the place, with an extraction system in the back there. And then coming on to the next room over here, we've got some metalworking with welding equipment, a nice drill press, and so I have welded before, but it's been quite a few years, and this would be another something. I mean, welding equipment's gotten a little bit cheaper these days, less expensive, but to get a MIG setup and a TIG welder and a stick welder all in one spot like this for $60 a month is pretty darn good. And then the rest of the woodworking or the metal shop, we got some metal lathes, kind of a machiner here, real fancy. Don't even want to try that. Some other lathes. I think I saw they had a bandsaw around here somewhere. Some pretty good, nice little woodworking tool set or metalworking back there. And then over here they've got, this is one of their newer additions, is a pottery section. So they've got, I think they've got three pottery wheels around here, and they've got a manual one and some electric ones, and some that go the other way for left-handed people. But yeah, it looks like a pretty nice little pottery workshop in the back here, and they've got quite a bit of interest in this pottery working. I would not something I'd probably be any good at, because it looks like it takes some artistic talent. But yeah, pretty nice. They do charge. They do like to get donations for some of the stuff. I can't remember. No, I saw a sign around here somewhere. They charge by they ask for a donation by the ounce or something like that, for like this pottery clay. And then I think the other thing they ask for donations is the 3D printing for the filament if you don't bring your own. But yeah, all in all, a nice little workshop. There's some other stuff in the back I haven't seen, but if any of this stuff interests you, then MakerSpace in Melbourne, you can Google it, and they've got a website, $60 a month, and you get access to a DIYer's paradise here, I tell you that. I mean, there's not much I can think of that they don't at least have that some professional DIYer like me would want to have. So anyways, we'll go ahead and pause here. I'll get back to the house, to the shed, and do a test fit on this and see how it looks. Not sure if I'll come back today to do the final cut, or what our next step is. I want to get back and see how this looks. So we'll pause here and head on back. All right, you can see we're back out in the shed, 99 degrees. That's what we love here in Florida. So anyways, I had to wait for the darn yard guys to get done so I could do some recording. But anyways, you can see I've got a center line stretched in here. This green line is right down the center, and just so I can give you an idea of what my plan is. Now you can see the center one here with the square cutout gives me a good shot at the front to back alignment, because I don't want to go too far back that way or too far forward. I'd like to keep it the trunk the center trunk in the right spot, forward to aft too. And then you can see the slots that I've got here will let me line up the center line pretty darn accurately. So when I get ready to do this, my big concern now is how I'm going to mount this to keep this whole thing from sliding around while I'm doing it. I'm tempted to try some screws and do some patching afterwards. But also I could bring in clamps up through the opening that's already there and get it clamped down on one side and then route around and then move the clamps and try to do it that way. Might end up being a combination of both. But first, the next thing I want to do is do some trial runs so this would be a little bit different than a flush trim router. This is going to be a pattern router where the bearing will ride on the pattern and the blade will be below it, whereas a flush trim, it's the other way around, where the bearing goes on the bottom and you're going off the top. So anyways, I've got outside in the shade where it's hopefully not 99 degrees. I've got another little test I want to do here. So I've got a piece of plywood all ready to go ahead and try doing a test on this. I've got some clamps ready to go, so I'll clamp this down to the sawhorse workbench thing I got here, and then we'll go ahead and try the router around. So let me get you set up and we'll see how that goes. All right, so I've got the both the test piece and the template here just clamped down to the workbench on this side, and just by itself over here I've got the pattern router bit here in with the you can see the ball bearing is on top, so when I put this in it'll be riding on the pattern instead of the underneath. So we'll see how this goes, and remember, we're simulating this so that the bottom piece of plywood would be the boat, and then the pattern of course is on top here. So it's just a test, and then so once I get around, see, I don't think I'm going to be able to, I won't be able to get by that clamp or probably that clamp, so I'll probably have to do some finagling and moving around. So that's one of the kind of tests I want to do here. I guess when it comes down to it, if this doesn't work very good, what I need to consider is using screws or making the pattern bigger so that I've got more room to clamp on. It might be a combination of both. So anyways, let's get this test started here and see how this goes. And it helps if you have a fresh battery. All right, hopefully that's the only mistake we've got, the only hiccup we've got, I guess I should say. All right, let's try this again. Take two. going the wrong way. All right, so let me move this clamp here. All right, not too bad. I think I had it set too low. It looks like there's I was getting just a little bit of tear out here at the top, but it's probably not the worst thing that happened. And you can see that one of the things I was worried about is hitting the template. And you can see there I put a pretty good chunk in it right here, and I did put a pretty good chunk in it there. And I think that's because, well, first of all, the router wants to go this way. Coming back this way, the rotation of the blade is kind of counter to your motion, and I think that's what got it caught up there. So I want to make sure that I'm going right to left. Right to left on the bottom facing me. And then I think I am going to have to get some screws or something to hold this down so that it's nice and flat. Because I think the other problem was I had it here and clamped here and here, and I think it lifted up a little bit on this corner here. In fact, I can feel it's lifted up. Now on the boat, there's actually a curve there, so good. So I'm glad I did this and made the mistake here. Now the next one I want to try to do is do another pattern. This will be on the outside, and then see how well we can see how this fits here. This would take quite a bit of cleaning up to get rid of that edge. And it's a little bit loose, but I'm wondering if by the time I use the router to do the other side, if it wouldn't be so maybe you can see that it's got quite a bit of play there. I guess I'm okay with that, kind of, partly. I think some of that play, of course, is from, the width of the laser is going to have some, and maybe what I need to do is to make, because that's a good 1/8 of an inch difference, is to make the template and then make have the template and then make the plug 1/8 of an inch bigger separately on its own. All right, well, I can give this one a try here pretty quickly, and we can figure that out right away. Let's see, am I going to come out this way? Yeah, this one I am going to have to screw in. I don't have I think. Of course, when I do this with the real stuff, I talked about that. I've got that one plank that I had to replace because I screwed up the puzzle joint on, and so I've got that, and I think I'm going to use material from that to make up what I'm going to use as the plugs. Alright, so I think I want to come this way on it. Let's see where this, that's pretty precarious there. That's better. Yeah, thought I felt something moving. Alright, so I'm going to have screws for that. Alright, let me take a break here. It might be it for, oh, heck. happened here? Oh, I wasn't low enough. There's quite a bit of, hopefully you can see that. This, I do have a bigger blade. I'll probably use a bigger blade when I do that. Of course, this is, I think this is, I don't think it's 1/2 inch. I think it might be 3/16. Probably ought to measure it and see, but I do have a longer blade I'd probably end up using when I do the real thing. All right, good. A couple lessons to learn here, and it's even out here in the shade, it's a little bit hot. So I think this is a good break for today. I need to, tomorrow morning I'll probably I need to finish up sanding on the boat. So I think I'll break here on this, give this some more thought, maybe redo my drawing to increase the size of this by 1/8. The plug by 1/8, yeah. All right, we'll pause here and we'll be back on later. Alrighty then, it's another day out here in the shed. Came out here bright and early this morning and finished up most of the sanding. I wanted to go ahead and get the sanding done so I could lower the boat. I even got a good jump on sanding the transom here. I wanted to show you a couple things. I still got some a lot of hand sanding to do and some other pieces here, but it's only 81 out here, but it's at almost 80% humidity. And I'm melting. So anyways, I wanted to show you what I meant by using these slots. So you can see here, I've got the center line, this green string right on the center line, and now I can line these slots up here with what I want to be the new center of the form. Now I am going to have to still thinking about it. I'm probably going to go ahead and get some really short screws so that when it comes time to do this, I can screw the template down so that it doesn't move when I cut this out. Now for the plug, if you remember, we had the, I don't remember which side it was, but it was the number 4 plank that I had screwed up when I had done the glue joint. So I got that out here now, and what I'm going to do is cut lengths. All I really care about right now, I think, is lengths. Maybe when I get down, when it gets wider here, maybe I'll think about splitting it up. I'm not sure if we can get 2. Might be able to get 2 out of somewhere down in here. Let me see where I end up at, but that's what I'm going to do is I'll cut these just to a rough length and take 2 of them and then do a glue up on them so that we get the right thickness, because I think this is 1/4 inch or less plywood here, and both the bottom of the boat and the seat are almost twice as thick. And so I think what I'm going to end up doing is doing this glue up and then maybe going back to the MakerSpace and using the planer thicknesser to get the right thickness to match up with where they're going at. But that's what I'm going to do now is I'll go ahead and get these. I need 4 pieces cut, and then tomorrow morning I can do a glue up to laminate the 2 together. So I'll go ahead and pause here, and we'll be back probably tomorrow morning. All right, then we're inside in the air conditioning here, and I've got the blanks cut out. I did trim them up so that they're I've got plenty of room around them, but I wanted to make sure they were a little bit smaller so that I wasn't wasting a whole bunch of epoxy on them, just a little bit of epoxy. So my plan is to wet these guys all out and then with clear epoxy, and then go back with some thickened epoxy, put them together, clamp them up, and there we go. We should have our blanks all ready to go for when we do our routing out to get the plugs for the holes that I'll cut in the boat here later on. So let's get this done finished up, and I think this should be the last time I need to use the inside space here. I'll take one more gander around and make sure I've got everything where I want it to be for now. And then with the weather changing here over hopefully the next month or so, any other epoxying work we got to do, we should be able to do it outside in the shed. So might actually get my dining room back. I do want to check with the MakerSpace guys to see what they think about using the laser on a composite like this, where I've got epoxy holding these layers together. I'm just wondering if they have any thoughts on how the laser would do. Last night I did redo the drawing a little bit to make the plug just a little bit bigger and have it separate from the template. So I still need to go do another test run. I want to see how that looks, just as another final test here. A final test is another test. Might not be the final. All right, now to make up some thickened epoxy out of this, I'm going to give this another couple of pumps. Yeah, this looks about right. See if my new how my new spreader works. I tried taking just a regular spreader here, cut some teeth in it with a pair of scissors. Maybe could have made that thickened epoxy just a little bit thicker. I think we'll still get there in the end, but alrighty, now let's see if I can do this without screwing it up. They don't have to be perfect, but I did make it so that this corner and this edge, if they're aligned, then it doesn't matter how the others look. We'll have enough room to make for the blank to be usable for the mold, for the form. I'm not even going to worry about cleaning up the edges because we'll be routering all that off later, so it can drip all it wants. Alrighty, looks good enough to me. So let me get cleaned up and we'll finish up this episode. Alright then, a couple things before we finish up here is support MakerSpace. So if you have one near you, you at least ought to check them out if you got any kind of DIY project going on. I think it's a good place to visit and support. The second thing is, to my Minecraft fans, and I'll say it earlier in the next video, yeah, I think I'm done with Minecraft videos. I'm sorry, and I tried, but I just couldn't do it anymore. Not something I really want to spend any more time on. And making videos on Minecraft, it's more like a job. I'm more locked into to doing the videos and playing on a server. So yeah, sorry if you're gonna unsubscribe, feel free. I don't blame you. No hard feelings. I really do appreciate your support over the years. Anyways, I wanted to say thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Please leave me any comments, questions, suggestions down below. Please tell your friends about me, and please subscribe. Everyone, take care and be good.